Hi, my name is TJ. My dad died of overdose on January 1st, 2011, and my mom is a recovering addict. God helped my mom, and now together we are here to help you. Now let's talk recovery. Here's your host, my mom, Susan Sexton-Wood.
Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Recovery. I'm your host, Susan Sexton-Wood. Today we have special guests. We have Char and Tom Pennington. They are both from the 228 Club, which is it's a place to go for people in recovery. Hi, Char. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. I know that I've wanted the 228 Club to come on for a while now because you offer so much for the community. But I first want you, Char, we'll start with you, to share your testimony, to share with us what brought you to the 228 Club.
Okay, I started out 12 and a half years ago when I got clean and sober. Mm-hmm. And I was sent through the court system, but I was living in California. So I got involved out there with so many things. And then I came back here to be with my mom. And I ended up at a meeting at the 228 Club. And so I had wanted to see some things start to change. And I decided to get on the board. Mm-hmm. So I sat on the board for the 228 Club. I got involved more in the community and with drug-free Wayne County. I'm an alcoholic, so when I came into the program, I had been in a bad accident, and it took a life. And so that was really hard. And at that point, I didn't want to be anywhere anymore. And so I decided to, of course, the judge, he gave me 5 years probation in the rooms of AA, which was a good thing for me. Mm. So the more I became involved in the program, the more I learned about the alcoholic or the addict. I found myself falling in love with the programs. And so I started off, doing conventions and different things. Once I got on the board at the club, I had started seeing things start to change by being more involved within the community. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I was. That's how I got there.
That's exciting to hear that. You don't hear many people say, I was court ordered to go. Yeah. And I'm still there. And
I'm still there. They used to ask me in the meetings, they'd say, Char, your time is almost up. You're be off probation. So what are you going to do then? And I said, what do you mean? What am I going to do? Nobody has that answer. You never know what you're going to do. But I can say 12 and a half years later, I'm still where I was. And I always tell them in the meetings, I would never, ever give up what I have today. I am happier today than I've ever been. We at the club have been trying to do more events for people that are in recovery so they can see that we have fun. Mm-hmm. I've never had so much fun that I've had since I've been in recovery. So they're kind of stuck with me. I tell them all the time, I'm not going anywhere. I have no plans on going anywhere.
And that's a misconception where people say, oh, I'll never have fun again if I don't use, I just will never have fun again. Right. Misconception.
Very much.
So Tom, will you share with us just some of your testimony and where you're at in your recovery walk today?
Yeah, I can fill you in. I'm a person in recovery. Have been for the last 27 years all in a row. Before that, I had a 5-year period where there was a lot of relapse. I probably relapsed 30 or 40 times in that 5-year period. So, I'm like so many of us. I'm a little stubborn, a little hard I want to do things my own way. But I did finally decide to stay. And my story gets a little bit different. I'm actually one of those paid counselors that you were talking about earlier. And I didn't become one of those until I had 12 years of continuous sobriety. So, you know, today I am a licensed therapist and I do all that kind of work. But I think that some of the most important work is still done on an individual basis, one person in recovery talking to another person in recovery. And I think that's the most important thing we do. And that's really what the clubhouses are there for.
Yeah, that's good. So do you want to share what the 228 Club is?
The 228 Club was founded on Christmas Eve in 1980, and it's been in continuous operation ever since. The important thing to remember about the 228 Club, it's a rented building. It's the old nunnery for the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church rented it to us way back in 1980, and they have not raised the rent since. They've been excellent to us. They pay for our heat in the winter. We can't say enough good things about what the church has done for us. Past that, we pay all of our own expenses, so that the rent money, the utility money, supplies, all those things, we pay from club dues, membership dues, which are pretty inexpensive. They're only $5 a month.
Yeah.
And donations. And then we have a coffee bar in there where we actually sell some things, and that goes a lot toward defraying our expenses. So you can buy recovery literature there. You can come in, just have a cup of coffee. There's always a gin rummy game going on in there, or they're playing cards. We've got a pool table in there. They have meetings twice a day, every day of the week, 7 days a week. So there's a lot going on in the club, and it's a central place. It's within walking distance of a lot of people in town who need meetings. So it's a very central location and very accessible to all our members.
I know at the beginning of my recovery, I was at the 228 Club all the time. I don't get there as often as I used to, but definitely the 2 meetings a day was a huge part of my structure.
We're now open on Saturdays. We have the candlelight meeting. So we have the morning meeting on Saturday, and then we also have the 6:30 11 tolerance meeting, and now we have the candlelight meeting, and so we're open from 9 in the morning until midnight. So people have a place to come other than being out somewhere where they're not safe. So that's been a big success since we started that meeting.
So, Char, do you sponsor?
I do sponsor.
The 228 Club is a good place to find that support.
Yes, it's very much a good place to find the support. You know, we have the women's meeting, which is a big meeting. So for the women that are coming in, if they sit in on that meeting, no doubt they're going to find a sponsor. We have the men's meeting on Monday night also, and that room is full. So for the guys, they can find a sponsor there. So, and I think that's been a big thing for me is helping others, you know, and I think that's why I like it so much, and it gives me something to give back from what I have learned within the program. I had a great sponsor, and she taught me a lot. So it was always said, in order to keep it, you have to give it away, and yes, I do.
And giving back, people can volunteer if they wanted to at the 228 Club.
Yes. We always are asking for volunteers at the counter because we would like to stay open every day later. So the more volunteers that we have coming in, it makes it easier for us to keep the doors open longer. Right now we open at 11, and we have 11 and a 3 o'clock shift and a 6 o'clock shift. So someone's always at that counter right now, but we would like to stay open a lot longer.
Yeah. If someone needed a ride and they wanted to come to a meeting, are they able to call the 228 Club and get a ride sometimes? I know that it's probably not 100%.
Right.
But
They don't always provide rides, but once they get there and they get to know people, there are people that will go pick people up if they ask.
okay.
So I have done that myself, especially with people that I do sponsor. I'll go pick them up and be sure they are able to make it to meetings.
Okay. What are some of the events that you're talking about?
We have a Halloween karaoke dance coming up on the 21st, and that's a fun night. So then we also have the Thanksgiving dinner that we provide, and we never turn anybody away. So if somebody's out there that's not got a place to go and needs somewhere, they're welcome to come into the club to have dinner with us. Volunteers put all this stuff on. We do the same thing at Christmas. We have what they call the Alcathon on New Year's Eve. So we're open till midnight on New Year's Eve, and they come in. And then we do some gifts and that kind of things during that event. So we're trying to add more events. I've been looking for grants to help me, to help the club have more money to come in for the events. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
And you partner with other organizations,
We
whoever
partner
you
with,
can.
yeah, we partner with Drug Free Wayne County, Meridian. We partner with the Recovery Center at Meridian, and we take meetings over there once a week on Sundays, so they get kind of used to the recovery part of it. We partner with, I do meetings with Brianna's Hope. I've done some things that you've come to or have put on, and I'll be at one tomorrow. So it's like Saturday, right? Okay. I'm running my days ahead, but yeah, it's a fun thing, and that's what we want people to know. It's a better life. It's a much better life, and we can all do it together. We can't do it alone, but we definitely can all do it together.
Oh, yeah. And I can vouch for the events when you were talking about the Thanksgiving and the Christmas. I was at those for the first couple years of my recovery. And just thinking about it, it's like, man, I need to get down there because it is a safe, comfortable place.
Come visit us.
I need to.
Is.
And at the Halloween, I won second place for my costume.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been
It's been quite a few years, but you guys will get this, and maybe some people watching will get it. But I dressed up as the pink cloud.
Oh. That's a good idea.
I dressed up as a pink cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Tom, you shared with us that you're a counselor. Can you share some of what you do, helping others by doing now is your job?
Well, I'm an addiction counselor, and so I meet a lot of different people. I've spent a lot of time in the outpatient addiction therapy field, but I've done residential and I've been on the supervision side, so I've done just about all of that. I do think that I'd like to make an important distinction about the club and the difference between the club and the meetings that go on there. And I think this is a really important distinction for all the listeners to understand. The club is a separate entity from Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Al-Anon, Overeaters Anonymous. We have a lot of different meetings in that club, and we are completely separate and distinct from that club. Okay. So the 228 Club is a 501(c)(3), it's a nonprofit, and they are a business entity. So that's why we can appear here and talk about it openly. The meetings that take place in there, those are completely separate, and we have no jurisdiction over them. We have no control over what happens in there. They are anonymous organizations. So I really wanted to make the distinction that those two things are separate. Also, in the United States, we have a lot of clubhouses. You had talked about You Are Not Alone earlier. In the South, there are a lot of Yana clubs. You are not alone.
Oh,
and
wow.
when you go there, you can get a Yana token. So it's kind of a big deal to go to these places, get a Yana token. And so every major city has a mustard seed club. So if you go to LA or you go to Chicago, you'll find a mustard seed club. And of course, that's a biblical reference to all you need is faith as small as a grain of a mustard seed. So we have a lot of these clubs. And in this area, we are really blessed because in Cincinnati, Ohio, on Oak Street, is one of the oldest recovery clubhouses in the United States. It's been there for over 60 years.
Oh, wow.
And actually it might be over 70 now. They used to smoke at Oak Street, and if you got there past 7 o'clock at night, you couldn't see in the front door. There were so many people in there smoking. So now they've all gone. Of course, the whole state of Ohio says no smoking in public buildings. So you can actually walk in and see what the place looks like. But I think I went down there for 5 years and never knew what the inside looked like. It was so smoky. So there's a lot of history in these clubhouses. And literally at the 228 Club, thousands of people have gone through there over the last 38 years. And a lot of them have changed their entire lives by going there. So these clubhouses are really important, not only for our community, but I want to stress how lucky we are in a community of this size to have a clubhouse at all, because we're a relatively small area. And to be able to not only have that clubhouse, but to support it financially, that is a very big deal. They have one called the 1213 Club in Hamilton, Ohio. They do exactly the same thing we do. They support themselves with a coffee bar and donations, and it's a fairly small area there too. So in this area, within less than an hour's driving distance, you can actually get to about 6 different clubhouses. So these recovery clubhouses are actually very beneficial for the communities that they serve, and they're really important for the members of the recovery community.
And you guys partner with other clubs, let people know. I didn't realize there were that many. I know that there's, and I'm from northern Kentucky, which is the Cincinnati area originally, but I didn't realize that there were you mentioned just a few, and when you think worldwide, there's probably a club in each county.
In
maybe.
at least each county,
Well, actually, in a lot of counties, they don't have clubhouses, and I think that's the important distinction, that we're very lucky to have this resource in our area. In the Cincinnati area, where you're from, there are 4 clubhouses on the Cincinnati side, 2 more in northern Kentucky, right there where you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, there's 6 of them within 40 minutes of each other. So we network kind of loosely with each other. A lot of times, the boards of the clubhouses, they'll go out, travel around, and visit everybody. I can guarantee that if you went to Cincinnati, Indianapolis, or Dayton, everybody knows about the 228 Club. And there are 4 clubhouses in Dayton, Ohio. There's a really nice one in Indianapolis. I think they have 2. But there's one there that's very famous. It's been there for over 50 years. So these clubhouses become very integral to people in recovery.
You definitely are knowledgeable when just listening to you, because I've heard a lot about Tom Pennington. I can tell you that I've heard about your name in Winchester. We have an office in Winchester, and we have one in Richmond. We did have an office in Connersville, but we closed it down. But I've heard your name in Winchester.
I appreciate that.
And I've just, the last several years, every time I hear your name, it's just always positive. And I think this is the first time we've actually talked. Like
Probably.
Yeah.
This is a paid political announcement too, by the way. I think that one of the things that I'm really grateful that you asked us to come, because there is just a wealth of resources just in our area and in the surrounding area that people can get to. Like I said, in an hour and a half drive, you can avail yourself of literally thousands of different services and and meet probably 10,000 different people involved in recovery. So we live we're in a really lucky spot here. And we're kind of at the crossroads of everything. And, you know, just in Wayne County alone, we have more addiction services than probably any county other than Marion, the Fort Wayne area, and Gary, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we're really lucky to have the resources that we have around here.
Well, Char, is there anything else you'd like to share about the 228 Club?
I would like to invite you on Thursday nights at 6:30. We have a recovery meditation meeting.
I've heard of that meeting.
Yeah.
With acupuncture.
It is.
Won't you share a little bit about that? Are you the one that
Tom,
does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm certified in what we call auricular acupuncture detox. What it is 5 very small pins that go in the ear. You have about 300 nerve endings in your ear. They're all attached to different parts of the brain. So what we do is excite those nerve endings with a small pin. And that helps people enter a meditative state. We find that it's great for relieving stress, lowering anxiety, and helping people sleep. So we've had a lot of good luck with it. I've done it on a couple of hundred people
Oh, wow.
now. So
Thursday at 6?
Thursday at
6:30.
6:30. Yeah, every Thursday at
Yeah.
6:30.
You can bring a mat. We can lay on the floor, whatever you want to do, sit in a chair.
I'll sit in a chair. I don't have a mat. Are there any other meetings that are different, kind of like that you'd like to share that are happening at the club?
Other than the candlelight meeting, because we're open so late that night, and we have people coming from all over, from Indy, Cincinnati, different places. So,
Isn't there a meeting that's for medicated assistant?
You know,
the MAT meeting, yes, that is on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock?
at 7.
At 7. Okay. Yeah.
That's a medication-assisted therapy meeting. It is the only meeting of its type anywhere in this region.
Yeah, and I've heard about the meeting. I just didn't know what day it was. So if you could say something to somebody that's watching to choose recovery, maybe a family member that's watching that really doesn't understand what recovery is, and our family lives in our addiction with us. If you could say something to somebody watching, what could you say to them?
What would I say? You absolutely can have a better life. We don't, families don't always understand. I've never really shared anything with my family about what I had gone through, but I have the support of my family for anything that I've done. And I would say just come and try it. You know, come and join us, because you'll find that your whole life changes. Your whole life changes for the better. And
You develop what I've realized, and I learned it really, I would say from going down to the 228 Club, that you develop real friendships, that people really care about you.
what happens in any program that you're going into, it's like you become friends in the beginning, and then we become an extended family. We know that no matter what happens or what we go through, all we have to do is pick up the phone, and someone's always at our side when we need them.
And what's the saying, 5,000-pound phone?
5,000. I always call it a 10,000-pound phone, because I didn't like making those calls in the beginning, but now I know, you know, after the time that I've been in, all I have to do is pick up my phone and call. We have a women's list, and so we give that out on Monday nights. Sorry, and we have them to just call. And we tell the newcomers that come in, just call, just pick up the phone and call. I leave my phone on 24/7. It lays beside my bed, and if somebody calls me and that needs help, I'm more than willing to either meet them at the club, sit and have coffee, help them through the night if that's what it takes.
And if somebody does come to the club, you have information that says what meetings are around the area
Yes.
too, right?
Yes, we do. And not only that, but we've recently put in a resource center, and it has different recovery places that they can call and get into.
Okay.
So,
All right. So, Tom, if you could share with someone that may be watching something to encourage them, whatever you feel on your heart, what could you offer someone that may be watching the program?
Well, I'd tell them that there's always hope. As long as you have a little bit of hope, I think you can change it. It can get better. It doesn't get better overnight. That's our problem. We like everything right away, but little by little we can get better. And my friends in Cincinnati say, "Poco a poco se va lejos." That means little by little we go far, and that's exactly what we do. Little by little we can go a long way.
Wow. I've learned a lot from you guys today, and thank you so much for being on the show. Wish the best for the 228 Club, and I definitely need to get down there. I keep saying
Absolutely.
that I need to, but I used to really like the candlelight meeting. And it stopped for a little while, didn't it?
it did.
Okay,
Yeah, it did. But it's going strong again.
good.
So,
So that meeting and the Thursday, just thinking about the rest, insomnia. Yeah, that's me.
It's great for that. That meeting's really great for that, because I don't sleep well either. And the night after that meeting, that same night, I can sleep through the entire night.
Do you get many people come to the Thursday to the?
We get between 6 and 10.
Well, that's enough when you're the one, you got to go to each person probably,
It's-
right?
It's a nice little meeting, so everybody's
All right.
welcome.
All right, well, I'll have to check it out. Well, we want to thank you for joining us on the Let's Talk Recovery show. I'm going to share with you a poem, and I've shared this many times, and this is called Salvation. And if you don't know Christ, we want to encourage you to reach out to someone that can help you learn more about Jesus and what he did for us when he died on the cross. This is called Salvation. Bad things happen, even when there's good inside. God gave you a smackdown. All along, you wonder why. Salvation is through Jesus Christ, the one that gave his life for you. Eternity starts from within. Broken hearts can become new. You've been very sick. I've sat by your side. Always got your back. I would never tell you bye. God's doing his work in your heart and mine. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Now I think it's the right time. I now introduce you to our Savior, Jesus Christ, the one they call the Messiah, the one that gave his own life. Ask for forgiveness. His arms are open wide. He will also never leave you, never high and dry. He can wash your sins away. He can break that ball and chain. Jesus Christ died for your sins. Just pray, and he will guide your way. So you've learned a lot about the 228 Club today, a lot of information in such a short time. But as Char and Tom talked about, it is open for you. And if you need a place, a safe place, that also is a place where different meetings are happening, we encourage you to go down to the 228 Club. You will meet people that you will become friends with, and as Char said, it's an extended family. So we encourage you to just take the opportunity to visit. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but I guarantee if you go there more than once, you will feel like that is your extended family. Thanks for joining us on Let's Talk Recovery.